A hairdresser is a very, very important profession. Just imagine if it didn't exist and people walked around either overgrown or self-trimmed with a bunch of uneven steps and cuts. This profession makes people look beautiful. But it's not only humans who need the services of a hairdresser. Allow us to introduce Chris. Chris is a sheep, and he's the hero of our story today. He loved freedom so much that he ran away from his own owner and lived independently for 5 years, thus depriving himself of seasonal shearing. We don't know for sure who Chris was trying to escape from, but judging by the length of his wool, he spent no more than 5 years on the loose without anyone taking care of his wool. Chris was discovered by the staff of the Royal Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals at the border between Canberra and the New South Wales, Australia. His wool had grown so much that even a bullet probably wouldn't be able to harm him, and the freezing temperatures were highly unlikely to do any damage to the animal either. The sheep was caught in a couple of weeks and sent to a shelter, where he was named Chris. Shelter workers were puzzled by his neglected wool, so they placed an ad looking for professional shearers for small-horned livestock. To the relief of the shelter staff, their search was successful, as it became a challenge to care for the poor animal with such a heavy load of wool. A local Australian sheep shearing champion, Ian Elkins, arrived at the shelter. What followed was simply spectacular. Ian called in 5 other shearers for assistance and got to work. By the midpoint of the shearing, it was clear that they would need to repeat the process at least once again, since the amount of wool was simply tremendous. After removing the first layer, they realized that Chris was half the size they previously thought. When the job was finally completed, which took over 40 minutes by the way, they decided to weigh the wool. The weight didn't just surprise all the participants of the process, but also set a world record for the largest amount of wool sheared from a single sheep in one go. The weight was 42.5 kilograms. After the shearing, the stunned Chris was taken to a veterinarian, where it was concluded that his health wasn't compromised. Now, the sheep continues to live at the shelter and awaits those who will become his family and won't forget to shear him in a timely and stylish manner. By the way, the New Zealand Farmers Association proposed to declare sheep shearing as an Olympic sport. This country regularly holds international sheep shearing competitions, and the speed shearing record belongs to New Zealander Kerijo Tahua, who sheared over 500 sheep in 8 hours.